Every few months, Hollywood does it again. Another beloved character changed. Another internet war. Another month of outrage. And every single time, the same thing happens. Social media explodes. People argue for weeks. The movie trends everywhere. Free marketing, free attention, free engagement. Notice something interesting. Studios rarely take risks on new stories anymore. Instead, they keep going back to timeless franchises with deeply attached fan bases. Then, they make changes they know will divide audiences. And suddenly, the movie dominates social media for months. But what if this isn't incompetence? What if the outrage is actually the strategy? What if the rage is the point?
Hollywood understands something about the internet. People don't just consume entertainment anymore. They consume controversy. Every angry tweet becomes promotion. Every debate becomes marketing. Every reaction video becomes free advertising. And suddenly, a movie nobody would have cared about dominates the entire internet for months. Think about it. How many modern movies become cultural conversations without controversy? Very few. But attach identity politics to a beloved franchise, and now everyone is talking. Supporters defend it, critics attack it, content creators farm it, news outlets write about it. And the studio wins either way, because attention was always the goal. Anger is engagement, and engagement is money.
And this is where the conversation becomes more complicated than people admit. For example, one controversial movie where a major character switch occurred was The Little Mermaid. The issue was never hatred toward Halle Bailey. In fact, even many critics admitted she was talented, charismatic, and had an incredible voice. The frustration came from something deeper: attachment to the original cultural identity of the character. The original fairy tale was written by Danish author Hans Christian Andersen. Its roots are European. And even Disney's animated version still carried strong European coastal inspiration through its architecture, setting, and aesthetics. So for some audiences, changing such an iconic visual identity didn't feel like organic representation. It felt corporate. But this raises a bigger question. If Hollywood truly cared about authentic diversity, why not build new icons? Why not invest billions into original stories? Why not develop overlooked minority characters that already exist? Take Ariel's friend, Gabriella. She was already in the lore. She was beautiful, she was black, and she was a character people loved. Why not give her a spin-off? Or why not simply build a whole new kingdom, a new story, a new legacy? And we keep seeing this pattern again and again. Astrid in How to Train Your Dragon, Iris West in The Flash, MJ in Spider-Man, Snape in the new Harry Potter series, and now Lupita Nyong'o in The Odyssey. Again, the criticism from many fans isn't necessarily about the actors themselves. Most people agree these are talented performers. The debate comes from changing characters whose identities, settings, histories, or visual imagery were already deeply established in the minds of audiences. Let's look at one example. If a black actor plays Snape, many fans and critics argue it heavily changes the meaning of the story. In the original lore, the bullying Snape endured was a class-based power struggle. James Potter and his friends were wealthy, pure-blood wizards. Snape was a poor, half-blood outcast.
It was a classic schoolyard cruelty rooted in status. By changing the race of these characters, you shift that dynamic into a racial one, potentially creating a character nuisance and changing the fundamental meaning for new viewers. Why does it almost always return to replacing established legacy characters instead? Because originality is risky, but controversy is predictable. Studios already know these decisions will dominate social media. It's easier to modify an already famous character than to build a new one from scratch. Even if it divides audiences in the process.
Now audiences are exhausted, not just from race swaps, but from feeling like every classic story is becoming part of a cultural argument. People miss escapism. They miss originality. They miss stories that feel genuine instead of engineered for headlines. Think about it. If you're a high-level executive and you want DEI to go away, but you can't just say that because of the public climate, how do you do it? You don't just stop. You shove it down people's throats in the most abrasive way possible. You strategically do it wrong. You pick the most beloved white characters and swap them, knowing it will cause a firestorm. You wait for the inevitable backlash, the mean comments, and the lower profits. And then, you have your excuse. You can turn to the board and say, "See, we tried to be inclusive. We tried to be diverse, but the audience just doesn't want it. Look at the backlash. Look at the numbers." And then, the directors and marketers can completely scrap the black actors, the dolls, the toys, and the games, and put the original actors and figures back like it never happened. All the while, they never gave these black characters their own stories, their own roles, or their own place in movie theater history. It was just a temporary replacement, part of a bigger ploy to get mass audiences so tired of DEI that they eventually beg for it to stop. They want you to reach a breaking point where you say, "Just give us the original characters back." And when that happens, they can peacefully remove diversity altogether, claiming they're just giving the fans what they want. It's not about progress. It's about a planned obsolescence of inclusivity. They're using talented black actors as shields for a corporate strategy designed to fail. It's just a theory. But when you see the same mistakes being made over and over, you have to wonder, is Hollywood really this bad at diversity, or are they this good at getting rid of it?